Welcome to my studio. Hope everyone is rocking and rolling and playing their guitars and doing everything that they should, and still listening to Parabellum, my brand new record. I just want to say hi, take some questions, and tell you some news about some of the stuff we're going to happen really soon. So we got to start a big tour now. Finally, it's coming up, and the first show is in not even 2 weeks. It's in Melbourne, Florida, November 6th, at the King Center for the Performing Arts in Melbourne, Florida. Not Melbourne, Australia. King Center for Performing Arts. So make sure you turn up there. It's going to be awesome. Then we carry on to Atlanta, November 16th, Georgia. And we got to go through Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Colorado, California, New Mexico, Oklahoma. And then in the beginning of the year, or like March or so, we have already set some shows up in the EQ, one in London, one in Wolverhampton. And then we carry on to a couple of shows also in Europe. So please look at YngwieMalmsteen.com for all the details, and make sure you turn up for the shows, because I'm going to be there. Take some questions as well.
No real questions just yet.
I see something rolling around there.
Yeah, it's the chat room.
All right, so like I said earlier on, the touring is starting immediately. So for you guys not to miss anything, YngwieMalmsteen.com, that's where you go. And hope you're practicing your own guitars. It's very important. Or any instrument that you play.
On that note, Prince Charming asks,
Prince Charming.
Is it better to practice with a clean tone or with distortion?
That's an extremely good question. And here's the fact of the matter. If your end intention is to have a sound like this, like this sound here I'm using now, for instance, it's extremely gainy. It's a lot of gain on it. A lot. So if you learn how to play without amp and then utilize this sound, it runs the risk of becoming a little muddy. So you have to practice actually playing with the gain that you are going to use. So in other words, you're practicing on like an acoustic guitar for something you're going to learn that, apply to full out electric guitar, rock and roll style. It's going to be counterproductive. So whatever sound you intend to use, you want to use this clean sound, work with that. If you want to use more dirty sound, stay with that. Don't, because it is different. It is a very different thing with the legato and so on. Yeah, definitely.
Steve Cooper asks, what's your favorite 6-string arpeggio?
Not favorite one, but like the major ones, they sound cool. I mean, like the 5 ones is a. First time I heard that was when I listened to the Fifth Caprice. It wasn't on the guitar; it was on the violin. I said, "Wow, that's so cool!" And I've already kind of started doing like this. That's 2 strings. You do 3, 4. Then you have 5, 6. It's really what you think that you should apply it to. You know what I mean? You can use 3 strings and mix it with 5. It's not one thing. It's whatever it's applied to for the musical purpose.
So Imre asks, good afternoon, Malmsteen. I'm from Hungary. You are the best. Are you healthy?
Are you hungry?
Well, they're asking, are you healthy? Is everything okay? With a smiley face,
I'm very healthy. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody else is doing well as well. I think you should always be very grateful for what you have. And I think gratitude is key to happiness. And if you're happy, you're usually healthy. It all goes together. You have to look after yourself. Don't drink and do stupid things. That's a good start. But whatever makes you happy, happiness is the most important thing.
So John Williams asks, are you or have you been a PC gamer? If so, what games do you play?
PC, would that apply with Sony PlayStation also? I
That's
don't know.
not really PC,
Oh,
stuff
see,
on the
I
computer.
don't even know that. No, I don't think I've done that actually. I played the little ones, the PSPs and all that stuff. Yeah, I used to play tennis games. Or Crash Bandicoot. I like that one. That's funny.
What's your favorite Ferrari model?
Oh my God, there's so many. That's impossible to say. They're all beautiful. I prefer the ones. My preference with the Ferrari, or any car for that matter, especially a Ferrari, it's that it's convertible and it's manual gearbox, manual with a clutch pedal. They don't make them anymore like that. So the last one they made was the 360 Spider, which I have one of those, and I love that one. But I also love the early ones, the 308s and so on. So even before then, the 250s, and they're all beautiful, all of them, fantastic.
So, Maureen Kasparek asks, do you prefer large or small venues for your performances? And why?
It's a great question because there really is a difference. And my favorite is when you can get the connection to the people with the good sound. And with good sound, I'm talking about a theater, because the theater is not always built for music, but it's like it's a size that gives certain reverberation to the sound, and you still connect to the audience. Like I played places, for instance, I played stadiums. I played stadiums with other bands and stuff like this, and it's very bizarre because you don't even feel that there's an audience there. So sometimes that's outdoors, and when it's outdoors, I don't like the sound. And if it's too small, then I don't have enough room to run around. I can't put enough amps on the stage, so that's not good either. So I think theater is the perfect size. Sound, connection, everything. Yeah, that's what most of our gigs are gonna be.
Yep. So the question's gone now, but I thought it was a pretty interesting one. Someone wanted to know how you stay fit on tour.
Well, again, I think that when it comes to anybody, the most important thing is that don't do bad things.
No
What's
drinking.
bad for you?
No drinking.
Drinking, for instance. I haven't been drinking for, my God, 16 years, and it's a pretty it's an amazing difference. 17 years now, actually. I'm not preaching, though. I'm not preaching. Everybody has to be happy. Everybody has to do what they want to do. I'm just saying, for me, what I
That's
do,
what works for you.
And I always, I try to eat right and drink water and, sleep. Sleep is extremely important. So important for all the cells to regenerate. So, and being happy, enjoying what you do. You can enjoy what you do.
Let's see.
And play the guitar a lot, run around, screaming to microphones.
Have you got any hobbies besides guitar that you like?
I do, actually. My Ferraris, of course. But I like to collect watches and collect guns, I like movies, stuff like that. Just hanging out with family, of course.
Tennis too.
And tennis. Yeah, I forgot tennis. Love tennis. But usually, if either you're recording or you're on tour, it's kind of like consumes a lot of the time, So you gotta make sure you enjoy that too.
So let's see. Lots of folks from Brazil, especially, just saying hi.
Hi. Hi, Brazil.
Indonesia, Germany.
Indonesia. Yeah, next year we're planning to go wherever it's allowed, and we work on that a lot. You know, the whole next year. Next year we already got the beginning of the year getting sort of kind of busy already, and obviously from now to the end of the year we have that here in the States. So we're not gonna not go anywhere we can go. Well, if we can, we'll be there for sure.
Germany, lots of
Germany,
people
of course.
Germany.
Deutschland,
Hungary, yeah.
Hungary, yes.
Yeah. It's all on the map.
All of it. Yeah.
Will you conduct another symphony in the future?
I will, but again, that is something that you have to take like a year off, basically, to do nothing but that, and I just don't have that time. I mean, I did take a year off, not off, but it took a year in the studio here to record the last album, and that was pretty amazing. I could have done the classical thing with that, but I didn't feel like it. I felt like doing what I did, so I'm very happy with that. Parabellum I'm very, very pleased with the record, and but yeah, sure, yeah.
So it's been about a year since Eddie Van Halen passed. Do you have any words for him?
What can you say about Eddie? You know, I mean, he changed everything. I had already been playing for a while when I heard him, and it was a complete, like, it was like, wow, you know, the whole band when they came out, the first album there. And, you know, everybody I knew would hack up their strats to put humbuckers and start tapping and stuff like this. I didn't want to do that because that's Eddie, you know, and let Eddie be Eddie. But he influenced me in other ways where, you know, just to be spontaneous, which I've always been anyway, but he, like, made, you know, the way they made those first two albums, I loved everything about it, you know. It was so live in the studio kind of thing. I really loved that. And it was a great, the whole thing. Eddie was amazing. God bless him. Amazing. Not enough words, really.
Let's see. Just trying to go through because there's a lot of basic questions. Any reason you use 8 through 42 strings specifically?
Yes, there is. If you guys don't know this already, I have been doing this for actually for 50 years. I've been doing this for half a century. And the whole combination with the old Marshalls and the scallops and the whole everything, it's a combination of trial and error and trying to get to what you hear something, you hear a sound. And when you bend from C sharp to E like that, you know, like I could do that with a 10, I could do that with an 11. But why? What's the point? They don't sound better. They don't sustain more. However, on these strings, if you have a lighter bass string and you hit it hard like that, especially with these extremely heavy picks, they get almost like boing, like this. So if you take a normal 9 or 8 set, they're actually gauged wrong because the tension of the high E and B and G and so on, if you do this, they're different tension. They're not the same. The way I put this together is that basically each string has more, not exactly, but very similar tension, because for that note that it's tuned to, they have that gauge to get, you know, the higher the gauge, the higher the tension for the pitch. But if you want to have something that feels equal all around, this is what I came up with. But it didn't happen overnight. It was a long process, like everything else.
So John Luss asks, I saw a picture of you trying one of those Abbasi guitar models. What are your thoughts on it? How's the string tension feel to you given the multi-scaling?
Well, I mean, it's really a different instrument altogether. You know, I picked up one of his guitars. I think he was the one who took the picture because, "Whoa, he's playing my guitar." And I didn't even ask him. I was kind of, you should always ask first. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a crazy thing. I never really got into the more strings on the guitar than already he has, but he does a great job. So you can't knock that. Plays great.
If the Stratocaster disappeared from the world, what guitar would you play instead?
Probably Flying V. Yeah, I've flying. I got a couple of flying V's. I like them, but they're cool and everything like this. But it's just that you can't. I mean, it's just this is such a perfect machine. Everything on this thing's perfect.
Here's a pretty good one. Is your picking technique natural, or did you think about it a lot when learning and practicing for speed?
I never thought about it ever. Okay, and I remember vividly because what I heard in my head, when I heard Paganini do like an arpeggio and stuff like this, or I heard something in my head that wasn't from someone else. I just heard it and I wanted to play it. Whatever it took for me to get that sound, I adjusted my hands to that. I didn't think about, oh, should I hold like this or that. I mean, even the alternate picking and everything like that was a natural thing. You remember, there was no internet, there was no books, no scales. There's nothing that you could, like nowadays, get information. And it's so funny because I remember, like it was yesterday, I was in Japan in 1983, right? And they asked me, oh, how you hold your pick? I'm like, for the first time, I'm looking down at my hand and I go, oh, like this. I never thought about it. It's just whatever was necessary to get the sound I heard in my head, that's what I did. Same thing with everything else, So it's good to have pointers. It's good to have given direction. It's good. For instance, if you learn how to play classical violin or classical instruments, it's hundreds of years of technique that's brought down. The bowing, everything. You don't do it any other way. That's one way. With the electric guitar playing, it's so new. I mean, you could say Hank Marvin, and Clapton and Hendrix, they're like in the '60s, and then Page and all these people. But they never played the same. There was no set rule, and there was really no techniques per se. You know what I mean? So it's evolving now, basically. I mean, I just found my way of doing it. Doesn't mean you can do that.
Let's see. Oh, are you using a plug-in or real amps at the moment in the studio?
This right now, what you're hearing now, is a YGM 100 Marshall amp, full volume, stadium volume. And the speaker cable is going downstairs to a room that I call a place called Room of Doom. That's mic'd up, and it goes to a Neve and 1176 tube compressor, and then into the Universal Audio. So this is a real Marshall. The full volume downstairs. It's like nuclear level, Yes, so that's how I do it. But it's totally controllable in here. All I just turn on and off here because it's sampling. Yep. Then of course on here I've had a little reverb and a little delay on here. That's not in the amp. The amp's totally dry.
So what do you like in Scallop next?
Wow. That's original. Okay, so imagine if you play a guitar with really high frets, like jumbo frets. You gotta feel like you have a little more control of vibrato and stuff like this. I just went a few steps higher than that. It's deep scallops and jumbo frets. And what it does, it makes it so that it's a vibrato thing. It's nothing to do with playing fast. In fact, it makes it a little more difficult to play fast. You have to be a little more deliberate. There's no. Also, I like my action pretty high, so it doesn't do anything for the fast playing for sure, but it does something for the expression of vibrato, control of vibrato, stuff like this. For me, And I know a lot of people that agree with that. A lot of people don't too.
Let's see. Lots of people asking the same questions repeatedly.
Yeah, but maybe I should recap with what we talked about in the beginning of the show. We are now on tour officially. Don't forget, check out YngwieMalmsteen.com for tickets. The first show is November 6th, Melbourne, Florida. King Center for the Performing Arts. King Center, yes. And then at November 16th in Atlanta, Georgia, and we go on to Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Colorado, California, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. And then in the beginning of the year, we do, right now, there's 2 shows in the UK, England, London, and Wolverhampton. And then it's one in Holland. But there's more to be added, obviously. But don't forget to check out YngwieMalmsteen.com